It's Patti Mason. I live in Quail Woods, and we love New Bern, and we feel like we grew up here. The kids, the students are our future. That was my logo, and they deserve the best education they can. And I've been involved with education off and on. I've gotten a lot of education personally, and I just want to contribute, and I want to make it better. And I feel that I can contribute based on my work experiences. I trained initially as a secondary math educator, and then I ended up working in private industry on the Tartar missile systems for a while, where I was told I wasn't going to be in the education department. I ended up becoming a programmer, and then I moved to the National Security Agency for 32 years. And I have a lot of different experiences while I was at NSA, I tutored. They put me in a tutoring program at the local high school. When I came down here, I started tutoring, and I taught GED for one semester at the community college. And I'm just excited to help kids, and I want to watch them grow, be their best potential, and I want them to be able to graduate being a productive citizen. I would like transparency. I would like to bring the community into the decision space, and I truly value their input. When I worked at the Pentagon, I used to have to get different agencies to get together to accomplish the mission, and the mission here is the education of the students and improving performance. And I want the retirement community to be involved. The retirement community to me is very important, not just because I'm part of it, but because we have a story to tell these kids. We're successful. You know, we were able to retire. And we have time on our hands, so we have a lot to give back. I want more openness. I want public input. I value it. I want an exchange. And I want to make the schools the focal point. I don't want the school board to be the focal point. I only want people to be aware of the school board when we make a bum decision. And I want the schools, which is where the kids are, to be the focal point. I'd like to thank the previous board. They did a good job, steering the ship, and they put us in a better position. So I'd like to thank them for the work that they've been doing.
I'm Lori Spiece, and I'm the newly elected representative for District 3 in Craven County. That covers most of the city of New Bern neighborhoods and a little ways out down Washington Post Road. So I've been attached to the school system in Craven County as an adult for a little over 15 years as a volunteer, as a parent, but I'm also a product of Craven County schools. My son is a product of Craven County schools. My husband is a product of Craven County schools. And so we have a lot of interest vested as community stakeholders. And so I have a love for education, and particularly in my county and in my community. And I remember what it was like when Craven County schools were the choice for families in this community. And I know it can be like that again. And I think that I can be a positive change agent for some of that. I hope that I can be. So I've been not only attached as a volunteer and a parent for some time, but I have followed very closely the school board for the last 4 to 6 years. And there are kind of 3 areas that I think of. One is maturity. I think the prior board and really some of the prior boards have lacked in maturity and transparency and action. And when I say maturity, I feel like board members have to be statesmanlike. We are always in the eye of the public and the community, even when we don't realize it. And so not just when we're sitting at the board table, but when we're out in our communities and out in the community, we have to be statesmanlike in the way we present ourselves and in the way we interact with people. And it's not as though all the prior boards have not had statesman-like folks on it, because they have. I mean, I can remember, and some that come to mind for me are David Hale and Naomi Clark, Kim Rice-Smith. We have had statesman-like members of our board, even Mr. Carr Ipock, who was on the recent board. So I know, we know in general how that's got to be, and we've got to put some emphasis on that, being statesman-like. But also board members have to be able to handle sensitive information in a responsible way, and also have the courage to share things with the public when it's things that the public deserves to know. And that kind of leads me into what I was saying about transparency. So I believe that we have to, there's a perception that the board is not transparent in a lot of matters. And so we have to do our part to make sure that we are being open with information. And one thing that specifically came up often on my campaign trail was in reference to closed sessions. So there's a perception that there are a lot of closed sessions, and they may or may not all contain content that should be in closed session. And so to the extent that I can, I will at least question those matters. And I would like to see more information that can be presented publicly. And it's not just how the board operates. It's also our central office has a big role to play in us being transparent to the public. So when we get public information requests, we need our central office staff to respond to those things in a timely manner and in a way that is not so vague and difficult for reasonable people to discern and handle. And then finally, I would say action is really important to me. And I do believe that the prior boards, the last 4 to 6 years, have lacked in urgency and action. And so we have to be willing and courageous enough to take action. When we know something's right, and when the data and the evidence show us that a certain decision needs to be made, we have to be courageous enough to take action and do that urgently. And we have to remember that our interests are for the students and the school system, but never ever to dismiss the concerns of every single stakeholder in this county. And so I hope that I can be a positive example and, like I said, a change agent for all of those things. And I'm looking forward to getting to work. So I want to get a little in the weeds as kind of my first assignment to self. Find out what's been going on. Even though I've been present for most of the public board sessions over the last 4 to 6 years, I just want to get myself up to speed. And I'm listening to my community stakeholders and the things that they are asking and questioning. And I think once the new board members, we are 4 new board members, so we have quite a bit in different areas that we kind of have to get up to speed on. But I hope you will check back with us in about 6 months.
My name is Amy Davis, and I am a parent of 3 kids in the Craven County Schools, and I'm in District 5. My main reason running for the position was just open communication. I want to be the voice for a positive open communication where parents, community members, and teachers feel free that they can come talk to me or let me know what's going on, so that I just want them to know that their voice is being heard and that they're, their voice is being heard. So one of my goals is accountability. Accountability is, far often, we hold people at lower levels accountable, when in reality, it starts with the leaders within our organization, our board. So I really would like to start holding the people account at the top, the lower or the higher level accountable, because no matter what, if we fail or don't fail, that still is on the leaders. And we just need to hold them accountable and start at the top and then work our way down. I would like to have, I would like to work with some of the teachers and find out what their desires and needs are to make their quality of life a little better. So what kind of policies do we have in effect right now that's really affecting them, and what could we change to help their quality of life better?
I am Darlene Gibbs. I have been in the community of the Havelock-Harlow area for around 45 years. I worked for the school system for 11 years, first at Roger Bell, Grammy Barden, and then at Tucker Creek Middle for the first 6 years that it was open. Left there and went to work for the government in a contract position, and was picked up by the Department of Defense for working at Cherry Point, and was there for about 13 years and retired from there in January. I was recruited by some staff members that wanted a voice for Havelock on the board, someone that would speak up for them and look out for their interests as well as the rest of the county, so that we can, all of the board members, work together for equal education and support for staff and students.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I say is what really convinced me was working with some of the staff members and saw how much time and effort and love and finances that they give to these students, and I thought that I could do my part, and so that's why I jumped in.
And when you say like time, effort, finances, that's from like teaching staff at these schools?
Teachers, support staff, coaches, yes, they give so much to their students. Just starting out, just trying to feel my way and look into the history of why things have been done the way they've been done, looking into policy and what has shaped those policies and why we conduct business the way that we do. Top priority is the budget right now. We need to get that balanced and working well for the system. That is one big goal to start with. I believe that if you support the staff, that support staff, teachers, everyone that's involved in the school system, if you support them, that frees them up to work better for the students, to give the students what they need. So my focus is staff and students, and I really support the parents and understand. I raised 2 children, 2 girls in the system, and I have 5 grandchildren in the school system now. So I really understand parent side of things as well as students and staff. Oh yes, in the Havelock area. I like to highlight the wonderful things that they're doing. That Roger Bell has changed so much since I worked there with the new academy. And I understand from staff that the community focus that they have is working really well for the students there. I'd always planned to go back and work at Roger Bell as a grandparent, maybe reading to students, because we need that so much. Never did I dream I would be going down this path. It's a whirlwind. I knew it would be. There's a lot to learn, a lot to get up to speed on. I really look forward to working with the board and having a team committee focus on tackling issues and getting the work done that we need to do. No, I just thank the Havelock people and the Harlow people for putting their trust in me to work with them and with the system to improve our whole system for the students and staff.